Hey guys, this is Mandy from Light on Earth. So my two biggest passions in life are art and spirituality. And I found that by putting the two together, the two go hand in hand, and using understandings found in one with the other, that I've been able to increase my growth a lot. And I found a lot of tips that I think can help artists, especially if you're having trouble feeling confident about your work, or you're feeling like you have frequent creative blocks. So we don't really talk about spirituality much as a culture. We have a history of thinking of religion and spirituality as one thing, and not really a whole encompassing thing that everybody sort of has as part of their life. And so I feel like as artists, no matter what our faith is, we have a connection to something bigger than us. And we realize that our art comes from somewhere deep within us that we don't understand, or something larger than us that we have a connection. And that it's a sort of energy that flows through us and manifests into art. And so I think once you understand that that is what art is, and you understand that it is coming from a deeper place, and that you are the connection, and that things from that place do want to become actual material objects, and you are the creator of those, that you can get rid of some of the things that block you from doing that. So basically, you want to cultivate a relationship with something bigger. And for you, that may be you may see that as God. You may see that as Mother Nature. You may see that as the universe, or however you want to word it. But your own connection, and we know when we feel connected with that, we feel alive, we feel creative, we feel passionate. And so your connection with that has to be your top priority. Even more of a priority than selling your art, even more of a priority of how your art comes out. Your first loyalty is to that. It's to your muse. And so when you feel disconnected from that, you know that something is off. And it's your job to find out what things help you to connect with that. It could be music that inspires you. It could be a particular place, that going to the beach that has a certain energy that brings that out in you. It could be time spent with another person. It could be time spent with your dog or your cat. It could be anything. And so what I want to encourage you to do is become very aware of what sort of things keep you from being in that creative place, and what sort of things help you to get there. And so don't try to make art when you're not in that place. Don't try to make it happen. And recognize that your thoughts are the things that get in the way of you making great art and you being connected with your muse. And so one of the things that I've started doing is when I'm in the middle of a project, and I start thinking that this isn't going well, or I'm not doing a good job at this, or I don't like how this is turning out, I shut down that line of thought and I try to become incredibly present and just like hyper aware of every single motion I'm making, everything I'm doing, but not in a judgmental way, but just being in the moment way, and with very little thought about it. And whenever those thoughts come up that it isn't good, I just dismiss them as not helpful, don't need that right now. You're allowed to criticize your art once it's done if you want to, but don't ever do that while you're in the process. And we all know that with most great and big projects, there's a point that it's just like this is not gonna come out so good. Especially if we're really breaking ground and we're doing something new we've never done. And just, it is key to be able to turn off those thoughts in that moment and just become one with the art and just let the energy flow through you. Be the path that the energy is flowing through. And that is how art is made. The other thing that can really help you to do this and can help you to come up with those ideas for projects in the first place is to clear your mind during the day. And this can be any sort of meditation. It doesn't have to be formal meditation. Some people don't respond well to that. But meditation is an easy way to tell someone how to do this. For example, just sit down in a comfortable spot and either focus on your breath, or if that's uncomfortable for you, focus on a low hum in the room, a heater or air conditioning or whatnot. And when a thought comes up, even if it's something that how your dog barked or anything like that, just recognize it and go back to focusing on that. And so you learn to realize when your thoughts are coming up, and you learn to realize which thoughts are helpful, which thoughts are new, which thoughts are creative impulses and that have a sort of charge behind it, so you know that they're coming from that deeper creative place, or a thought that's just repetitive and it's just criticizing you and your work. And so you learn to sort of weed those out and discourage the unhelpful ones from coming. And you will also realize that the more you are able to turn off your mind and just sort of put yourself in that zone, the more creative ideas will come to you. And by sort of paying attention to this, one thing I realized I was able to do is when I shut my eyes at certain times, generally this is before I go to bed, when there's very little like thought activity going on, I will have these images, and they come from my subconscious or some deeper part of my brain or somewhere outside of what I am aware of on a level of thought. And I've had some really good ideas come up, and to the point where I've put a pen and a piece of paper by my bed, because I'll go to bed and I'll just like close my eyes and write out what colors I see or what patterns I see. And the next day I'll be able to use them in my art when I'm sitting twiddling my thumbs not knowing what to make. So it's really cool, the connection between spirituality and art. And I feel like our culture doesn't really want to talk about things that it considers woo-woo, but if you want to have a great time making art and you want to make really creative art, you have to realize that it comes from something bigger than you. And the more you sort of explore that side of yourself and honor it, the better your art will become. So I hope this video was helpful for you. And I make a lot of videos on personal development and a lot on sort of personal finance subjects, because I feel like being in that sort of free space where you can feel secure enough to be creative is the best way to make it as an artist. And so there's various ways of getting there. And so I find that personal finance is key to us artists being able to do that, because as we all know, art can be difficult to sell and it can be difficult to have a steady income that you can count on. So check out my videos if you're interested in that sort of thing, and thanks for watching. That's all for today. Bye.